Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So today's video I'm going to teach you guys how to properly tune your guitar. I do have another video on actually how to tune a guitar. The difference being is all you see is my iPad. I'm using one of those tuner apps which really are not the best solution. But if it's all you got, it's all you got. Do your best with it. However, there's nothing that beats a clamp-on tuner or a much better quality tuner either way. However, if you have a clamp-on tuner, grab it and play along. If you have an iPad or an Android device with a tuner, same thing. Our goal here is to get each string to the center mark. Now, some tuners it'll be green, some will be yellow, some the background will flash green when you're on, that sort of thing. This one here just kind of goes to like a blue here, and we should be on tune when we're on blue. Okay, your strings follow pretty simple. Now if you're a beginner guitar player, I'm going to explain this. Your fat string up top is a low E, and then you have A, D, G, B, and then a high E. Okay, so you actually have two E's on your guitar. Okay, high E, low E, and both of them together will sound like that. So when you are tuning, if you end up tuning above pitch, so past the zero to the right into the red zone, what you want to do is you want to tune back down and then tune up to pitch. Do not try tuning down to pitch, because when you're tuning a string down, you're slackening off the string, you're loosening the gear train and the post inside, and everything gets kind of loose and easy to move. So as you're playing, you're going to be pulling up that string as you're strumming or picking. You're going to pull at the string, and you're going to actually start notching that thing little at a time out of tune. Whereas if you tune up to pitch, everything stays very tight. Your shaft is tight, your string is tight, your tuner gear train inside is tight, and less chance of fall off other than natural stretching that's going to happen anyway, because guitars do not stay in tune forever. Okay, they can stay in tune for a number of songs, and a lot of that does depend on if you use a capo or not with your guitar. So if you're not familiar with a capo, this is a capo, and it's used for changing keys, also for playing songs in a key range that your voice can handle. And if you don't know the specific chords, like if you need to be, let's see, in the key of A flat, okay, you need the capo on the first fret. Your first chord would be a G in the key of A flat, if you're doing A flat this way with G. But by using a capo, they tend to put a lot of pressure on, especially Kaiser capos like this, and other clamp-on style spring-loaded capos. And the amount of pressure that they put down actually pulls quite hard at the strings. And so it can actually create your strings to fall off, but not all at the same rate. They actually fall off in different rates, believe it or not. And you'll know that by checking your guitar from time to time, especially if you don't play your guitar every single day. Let's say it's been a week because you just have had no time to play, and you haven't played in a week. Well, if you check the tuning on your guitar, first thing a lot of people do is they just pick up their acoustic, especially acoustics, and they'll play and it sounds fine. So they think, oh, it's in tune. But really, it's actually not in tune, and there is allowable fall off that happens with an acoustic that you wouldn't really notice it too much until you hit certain chords, and then you're going to be like, that doesn't sound like that should. Then you'll really know, hey, wait a minute, maybe I should have checked my tuning. But on a lot of chords, you actually wouldn't notice that fall off. On an electric guitar, they're a lot more sensitive instrument than an acoustic, and a lot more precisionally done for the intonation. So you will notice that fall off very, very easily on pretty much every chord. So anyways, let's get on with this. I'm going to teach you how to do this what I'd like to call the right way. And that's by constantly picking at the string and keeping an eye on your tuner for that center mark to make sure that you're on. Now I'm going to also have to move this so I can see it as well. And for what I'm seeing, our E string has a little slight bounce to the red zone, and then it drops right away. Once it hits that red, it's dropping right away and going back to the center mark. That is more than fine, and you'll be able to do that for every single string. Some tuners are a little more sensitive than others, and so it's very hard to get a very precisionally dialed in note each time as far as not having any kind of red show. But also, all tuners have a plus or minus range of accuracy, okay? This one is such that it's a little more sensitive in that way that it'll hit a red and it'll disappear right away and go back to the middle zone where it's supposed to be, you know, and you're okay. So when we're talking about tuning, so here I've tuned up in pitch, and you can see I'm definitely up in the red, and I need to drop this back. Okay, so now I'm at D, and I gotta bring this back up to the E. And when I think I'm on, I'll let it ring out for a few seconds and see how long it stays. It's hard for me to see this too. That looks like we're good. So for you guys, so the idea is to constantly just, you don't have to pick hard, just lightly. And you'll see it'll bounce to that red. Now the idea is we want to try and avoid the red altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a snark tuner, because I think it'll be a little bit, sensitivity will definitely be different between them. Because this one seems to actually be a little overly sensitive, I think. I'm still learning a bit more about that AT100 tuner. So now we have the snark out, and we can see with the snark, that E is really pretty solid. It's got a yellow zone that hits, but it falls right off right away if it does show up, and that's fine because I'm hanging around for a while here, still staying on E, and then it drops off. A, I saw that little flicker, right? So I know my A is kind of really not on that well, so I'm going to give it just a little tiny movement. Okay, that's good. D. D's pretty solid. G. Good. Now the B, that's up. That yellow is up and it's kind of staying there. So we want to tune down. When we see something like that happen on a string, we want to tune it down a bit so it goes below. And then gradually just bring it back up. Constantly pluck that string, just like I am. You want to be able to do this several times and have it not budge. Or preferably if it does budge, drop right off, right away back to the solid. So now we can let it ring out and it's good. E, same thing. So now if we're up in pitch, again, okay, we're a couple bars up, that's actually quite bad. So we want to bring that down. We don't want to tune down to pitch. We're going to go just below pitch, and then back up to pitch. Give it a couple of flicks, make sure it's not bouncing, preferably. Stay in the solid, so one more hit and let it ring out, and that's good. If you just give it a flick and try and tune up, 99.99% of the time, this does not work very well for tuning, okay? It is definitely not going to work out very well for you on an electric guitar because they are way more critical and sensitive on their tuning because their intonation tends to be set a lot more precision than an acoustic guitar is. When an acoustic guitar is made, it's made a little bit differently. They have, you know, you've got your string lengths to deal with, your scale length and all that jazz. There's an angle to the saddle. Generally on steel string guitars, there always is anyways. Classicals are the exception. They're built a lot differently though. But with the string length, your string length from one point to the next point has to be a specific length, but also pitch has to be there in order to have that string so that your open string and your fretted 12 are supposed to be the same. Now there will be some little bit of a variance always, because you cannot perfectly intonate a guitar 100%. Anybody who says that is actually completely wrong, because it cannot be done. There's no such thing as perfect intonation. There's no such thing as dead perfect tuning. Now, you saw that we got it what would be considered perfect tuning. That's as perfect as it gets, as far as saying, yes, that's perfectly in tune, but there's still always that little vibrational margin of error that's going like this that we can't see on this particular tuner, but we do see it more so on this tuner. And the tuner that's built into my Boss GT100 pedal board is extremely massively sensitive, and it is so picky, it is crazy. So I tend never to use that on an acoustic guitar, but on my electrics I do, because I want my electrics to be tuned as perfectly as possible. Now, I use the word perfect in the sense of perfectly as possible. So I already know it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close enough that it's going to be really good. And that's the big thing, is we want really good, accurate tuning here. But the only way to achieve it, even on the electric, is the same thing. You got to keep picking that note, and just little tiny movements at a time. This may seem a little tedious to you, but it's going to also help you with ear training, so that you can hear the notes too. Because what happens if your battery dies? You got to know how to tune your guitar. So learning to listen to your guitar, listen to the tone of each string, can really help you tune your guitar even by ear. So you wouldn't even have to use harmonic tuning or fifth fret tuning, you know, any of that. You could just go pick, boom, pick, boom, pick, boom, if you want to try teaching yourself how to tune by ear. But we're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about using a tuner and tuning your guitar properly with a tuner, and this is exactly how it's done, guys and girls alike. So whether you're a beginner player or right on up there, you know, for years you may have been doing it the wrong way, well, this is the right way. And it's the way I've been using for as long as I can remember. I've been playing my entire life, so, you know, I've always, you know, done things the way I've done them, and it seems to get me the best stability either way. So now we got a nicely tuned guitar. Now we can go play. So in the meantime, you go do that. I'm going to go have some fun, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Ciao.